the preferred rocket was planned for Granite Loma by the lobbies. It's Firefly Alpha, and there were other ones that were a little smaller, but they weren't any smaller than 65 feet. And this is going to convert a lot of land. You're going to have 3 launch pads for each with 250 acres. You're going to have lightning towers, 4 for each pad, each 150 feet tall, so forget about dark skies. Security floodlighting, access roads on this land, multiple separate outbuildings, a water deluge system. And the water deluge system is interesting because these rockets produce so much force, so much sound, so much acoustic energy, that tens of thousands of gallons of water have to be deluged around the launch pad when these rockets launch. Otherwise, the shock waves will come back and knock the rocket off its path. And this is where it was planned, right in the middle of our recreational corridor. This would give new meaning to the word Echo Lake. But you can see, it was right smack dab in the area where people come to recreate and connect with nature. And the Federal Aviation Administration, which licenses these commercial space launch sites, has a rule that there has to be a 7,300-foot evacuation zone. And you see that in red, the circle in red. And you see the county, or the township line. Powell Township above, Marquette Township below. Approximately 15 families would have been evacuated every time they launched one of these rockets. Can you imagine that? Hey, we're launching, get out. No, it's not gonna happen, it didn't happen. So, right away, we knew that in order to construct this rocket launch site, they would have to rezone Granite Loma to a heavy industrial zoning district. And they would have to rewrite the Powell Township zoning text to define heavy industrial to include aerospace. So we knew right away that the gatekeepers for this whole thing would be the government and the people of Powell Township. So what we did right away is we started circulating letters. Well, we formed a steering committee, by the way, and then we formed a nonprofit. And we had 7 founding board members, and 5 of them were citizens of Powell Township. This was a Powell Township effort, and also Marquette Township, and as we'll talk about later, a worldwide effort. So we started writing letters to Darlene Turner, the supervisor, to Phil Moran, the planning commission, and to a musician who also was the head of Parks and Recreation, Sven Jonstedt, who happens to be sitting over there and he'll be playing tonight. And we thank them. And we thank the government of Powell Township because they read these letters at their meetings, and they were very gracious. And we had hundreds of letters being submitted. We were also contacted by homeowners in Powell Township. 17 families in the Soxhead Point Owners Association contacted us and asked us to help them do a resolution to give to the township, to give to the county, and we helped them draft this resolution. We presented to the township, was presented to the county. So this was a really grassroots effort from Powell Township. We also had tabling events. We gathered information about this, and we set up tables. And one of the tables we set up every year was the Big Bay Rummage Sale, and I see that guy. Where is Gene Champagne? I know he's here somewhere. There he is, right there. He was one of our founding members and our stalwart in Powell Township. Every year we attended the Wilson Creek Wood Festival and talked to people, met hundreds of people, talked to them about this, informing them about this disastrous plan. Here we are at the Big Bay Fall Fest. Had a good time, always, and talked to a lot of people and passed out information about this. We even were invited by Darlene to march in the 4th of July parade one year. We passed out information. And also we were at the farmers market down here in Marquette. Met hundreds of people from all over the place and gave them information about this plan. We also presented to the Northern Continuing Lifelong Learning at the Peter White Public Library. We did several of these presentations. This was our prior director, previous to Jane, Kate Sternberg. And then of course we wanted to go big and get the message out. And this is a billboard we had up on 41. And by the way, we have these signs, you can take them as a souvenir. There's some here tonight. And we even have some citizens of Canada that decided they wanted to join the campaign. And we got a lot of support from the artists here in town. In fact, a couple of the door prizes tonight are created by these artists. RUP, Carol Papaleo, 30 years ago, did these beautiful paintings of Stony Point. And she put them on sale at her RUP and gave us the proceeds. And likewise, Amber Johnson at Bodega, who owns Because Marquette, sold sweatshirts and did this beautiful poster of Stony Point and donated proceeds to us. So we had a lot of support. And also, we have a young filmmaker here who is tremendous. His name is Makari, and he put together a beautiful documentary called A New Threat. It was shown twice at the Fresh Coast Film Festival, and he's here tonight with his family, and we thank him. And of course, local businesses helped us. Lakeshore Depot distributed and took donations for our yard signs and passed out our brochures. The Gathered Earth had a sign right in front of her front door, Erica Smith. She's now at Rewild and Seiche, but she was very helpful. And then we had religious groups that supported us. The Episcopal Diocese of Marquette, Bishop Ray came out right away, very strong against it. And of course, there's the offshoot of that Episcopal Diocese is UP Wild Church. And Lanny Lanto is here from UP Wild Church tonight, and she was very helpful. I don't see John here tonight. I think he's teaching Tai Chi, but Cedar Tree Institute, they were right behind us from the very beginning. And then, of course, we have to give props to Upper Peninsula Environmental Coalition, Evan Zimmerman, Horace Smith, Catherine Heidemann, Dave Harmon. They provided us a live stream right away, in November of 2020, right after we formed a nonprofit. Very, very helpful. And of course, Yellow Dog Watershed partnership was preserved. It was very, very helpful. Brian Noel, he's sitting right here. This is one of his newsletters talking about this. And then, I don't know if you recognize this guy. I think he's here somewhere. But this is Carl Lindquist from Superior Watershed Partnership, and they were very helpful to us. And he's here talking to a reporter from National Public TV. And that was in August of 2022, and Carl was a great supporter, and we got a lot of coverage nationwide for our campaign. And earlier, a few months earlier, the New Yorker article came out, and this was Dave Rumpf is a Lance native, and he happened to be visiting family, and he saw our rocket signs and said, "What the hell's going on here?" And so just at that time, we had just gotten, through Freedom of Information Act, a report that MAMA tried to bury. And it was, MAMA came out and said, we need a vertical launch site, shoot the rockets straight up. We need a horizontal launch site to put the rockets on the bottom of 747s and take them off from the airport. And we need a command and control center. Okay, so Granite Loma was the vertical, Oscoda Wordsmith was the horizontal down at Lake Huron, and Kinchelo up in Chippewa County was a command and control center. And these are going to bring in 40,000 jobs to Michigan, and thousands of jobs, and billions of dollars, and thousands of jobs for the Upper Peninsula, and hundreds of good paying jobs for Marquette County. And this was the pitch. Well, problem was, it was not true. And so just when Dave Romp came by my house, as it was going on, we had just received the IQM report. When the $2.5 million was given to MAMA to do this feasibility study to see whether or not this was even made sense for Michigan, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation monitored the grant, and they told MAMA, you know, you gotta go to an independent consultant to see if this makes economic sense for Michigan. So they made MAMA go to the IQM Research Institute from Ann Arbor. The executive officer of IQM is Mike Dudzik, retired four-star general from the Air Force, had worked after retirement in Lockheed, and just expert in aerospace. His second in command was a guy who ran the Office of Commercial Space Transportation for the FAA for about 10 years. So this was a very aerospace-friendly group. Well, they were hired by MAMA in June of 2019. The report was done in February of 2021. And when they gave the report to MAMA, MAMA wasn't too happy because it concluded that spaceports in Michigan wouldn't be self-sustaining or economically viable. Very high financial risk for public investment for any local or state government. And optimistically, even if in all three of these sites, even if you would launch one rocket a week, 52 a year, it would only be the same as opening 2 fast food restaurants. But because there was, realistically, you'd never launch that many, revenue projection for all Michigan spaceports would be below $1 million annually. When this was given to MAMA, they refused to pay the last payment to IQM Research Institute, and they kept this buried in MEDC's archives. We got it out through Freedom of Information Act. And it was kind of the death knell, I think, for MAMA's effort here in Marquette County. So we have to also talk about petitions. One of our supporters started an online petition, and by July of last year, it had 26,000 signatures from all over the world, all over the country. We had our own little petition. We collected here at the farmer's market and up in Powell Township. We had over 2,000 signatures. So 28,000 people. So you have to ask yourself, what the hell is a Youper? A? No, you don't have to say A. All you have to do is know the value of Lake Superior.
Yes.
Every state in the Union, 24 foreign countries and U.S. territories, we received letters and communications and signed petitions from all over the world opposing this rocket launch site. So we always knew that zoning was the key here. And the people of Powell Township and the government of Powell Township were very, very gracious all along. But we wanted an official statement. So we went to the toolbox, zoning, planning and zoning in Powell Township. And we decided to do a petition to amend their zoning ordinance to actually prohibit in specific language rocket launch sites. And Mr. Bakken, Phil Bakken, one of our board members and one of the resident of Big Bay is sitting over there, and he signed on as the first signature of this. By the time we were done, we had 175 citizens of Powell Township that had signed it, and about 60 signatures of people in adjacent areas of Marquette Township and also of Iskrami Township. And so we submitted this, and the township did exactly what they should have done. They sent it to their attorney, a very fine attorney here in town. And after he looked at it, we had our attorneys from the Conservation Law Center, and someone I know is here from the Conservation Law Center, and they provided us excellent legal advice. And we negotiated for about a month, and we decided that the best way to prevent rocket launch sites, and this was an agreement between the township and our group, was to leave the zoning ordinance as it was, but instead have the township issue an official resolution. Now, I have truncated this. I have the full resolution with me if anybody wants to see it. It's on our website, it's on Powell Township's website. But here's the points. A rocket launch site or spaceport, and this is what the township officially declared on November 21st, 2023. A rocket launch site or spaceport at Granite Loma would not be appropriate or lawful under the zoning ordinance and is already prohibited. Rezoning for a spaceport would be illegal, spot zoning, and would be inconsistent with current and future land uses and planning goals for Granite Loma as defined by the master plan of the township. And the Powell Township affirmed those findings on November 21st. And this is very important. Very important because in zoning law, it's very rare that you have a township give an official interpretation of their zoning law, but it's even more rare for them to give an official interpretation of their master plan, which is what we want for the future. And for the future, we don't want a rocket launch at Granite Loma in Powell Township. Thank you to our community, to you, everywhere, to our team, to our board members, to all our volunteers, to all of you, to the press. The press has been great here, from the Mining Journal to the WLUC to all the local blogs. Have been just great. We really applaud them and thank you. So, I mentioned artists who have been contributing, and there's an artist here tonight. His name is Jerry Mills, and he's got quite a voice and he's got quite an imagination too. And we collaborated with Jerry. And I hope this works, because if it's not, Jerry and I are going to sing this thing a cappella.
They're your lyrics.
Just a few miles from Marquette, there's a stretch of coast. It's almost as pretty as nature gets. Now rocket jockeys want to tear it up just to lump some satellites. So we're here to tell them, hold on fellas, we don't think that's right. Oh, we'll stop your rockets blasting from Lake Superior shore. We're gonna keep it safe and clean for generations more. Mother Nature don't like rockets, no matter what the reason for. And we'll stop your rockets blasting from Lake Superior shore. Them rocket jockeys keep lying and spinning crazy yarns. But it appears facts are clear, those rockets will do harm. So we're telling, yes we're yelling, this advice for free. Take them rockets, put them in your pocket, get out of our UP. We're gonna keep it safe and clean for generations more. Mother Nature don't like rockets, no matter what the reason for. And we'll stop your rockets blasting from Lake Superior shore.
I forgot to give credit to Macari too. Macari had a hand in this music video.
And John Pride. And John Pride.
We'll get you into heaven anyway.